for the challengers here today.
We have this delightful gentleman who's been talking about such heady subjects. May I
Mark Pedersen.
may I film you, Mark Pedersen?
You already are.
Okay, well, I could cut it out. I have editing power.
How was the show yesterday? How's that video drop? How's that video drop, man? Am I on your YouTube now? You're now on our YouTube. Okay, so your show last night? Yeah. It was brilliant, bro. I mean, I got a little Fraggle Rock feel. You know what I mean? Like I felt a little Fraggle Rocky about it. Dude, I love Fraggle Rock when I was growing up. Yeah, and I felt like it was definitely on point with being all over the place, which I always love about your show. Well, you know, I am kind of like... And the timing was great because I was awake, which is really cool. That's one of my favorite parts of the show. Being awake for it. Yes, yeah.
But very important, I think. It's the key to unlock all the things that are locked.
Right.
Stay that way. Tim, did you like your show?
I loved it. Yeah,
What was your favorite part? What time? You don't have to say what part, but what time in it? Like in the first part was your favorite part or the second part?
Always the first part.
Always the first part. I'm more of a middle of the part guy. Like
In the middle of the part, yeah.
Like if I'm that part where like if it's a sandwich and there's an extra piece of bread in the middle, I'm not sure where I'm gonna go.
Like a Big Mac.
Not like a Big Mac.
Are you a Big Mac?
No, not like a Big Mac. Like a smaller Mac. Like a much smaller Mac.
Like a Big Mac Jr.?
As everything gets smaller, it becomes more complex.
Like, I'm so many Macs shy of that. That's how many Macs. That's how many.
You're a Mac attack, my
Other
brother.
than that, dude, A plus show.
Okay.
A plus show, bro.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll
man.
catch you guys next time on the
Bangers and Zen!
show.
That was awesome, Brown guys. we love him and awesome. How are you doing today, Mark?
Doing really well.
Man, you have really impressed me with your path. Would you like to say anything on our video today?
Stealing my content, bro.
It's our content now.
Is he spoiling me?
You started
What
this.
do you mean? Is he stealing?
I would say be educated. We have to change this world. We got to make it a better place.
Ronald Reagan, right? I agree with you. I agree with you, gentlemen. Well, yeah. Well, your show's based in reality. Our show's based in the.
We do live in the third dimension, and there's also 1 through 6, I believe. I'm just gonna kind of fill in for sure. I don't know much about this, but I know the second plane is the 2 dimension, the 11th first plane is
The delightful culture of people just sitting around and getting high and talking about heavy stuff, and it doesn't all have to be serious. Sometimes it can just be fun.
You may want to mention that Reagan quote.
Yeah, would you please go ahead and quote that again?
I think it was Reagan. I'm pretty sure your listeners may want to check it out on the web and find out if it's true. But I believe it was Reagan. He made the statement that the problem with pot smokers was that they like to sit around, talk, and read.
Oh, your wife's not here. Go ahead and
what's
finish that.
What is your...
The crazy thing is that like with the math and what they've done exploring math, they can explain, even if it's not possible in the real world, like infinite dimensions and how you can do different things in infinite dimensions.
Right. That was going on my show. Thank you.
What like like we have a circle, and that's in the 2 dimension, and then we have a sphere, which is in the 3 dimension, and they know how you could find the like 50th dimensional sphere version, and how you could find the version of area that's the 50th dimension, what size it would be. And you wouldn't think that would be helpful, because I mean, there's no 50th dimension circles that we use on a day-to-day basis, but it actually shows up a lot in terms of like really unrelated aspects, like I think there's like economics, just things all over the place that you wouldn't sort of think to see higher dimensions.
50th dimension. My waffle maker makes 50th dimension.
Mark Peterson, thank you so much. Yeah, you're a heady brother, man. I can tell. You're on a righteous path, and you have been for a long time. Thank you for fighting and supporting cannabis.
The 5th dimension, which is the possibility of multi-dimensional, if I'm correct. And that multi-dimensional only exists in the same timeline as what we're experiencing here in the 3rd dimension. Like there's a beginning and an end. But once you get past like the 6th dimension, which it's multi-dimensions with no beginning and end, that's where you come off.
The generations that come after us, man, we have to clear the path.
For sure. For sure. Thank you, sir.
All smaller. Like it's all curls in on itself. Like so that ant walking along that rope not only can see like the curls of the rope, you know, but can see like the pattern of the texture of the rope, and, you know, a lot more. Even though Anne had a similar vision of that we do.
I think that like with quantum physics, they don't really know a whole lot about what's going on. Like they know like the laws that they have right now and what they've measured. But there's a lot of just looking at the numbers and like theorizing in quantum physics too, because there's only so much that we can do experiment-wise right now. Right. And
So one of the things that they theorize is
that there are multiple extra dimensions, but they are small.
they act like strings or something like that, like on the
Right.
quantum level, and that like I don't remember the video, but it's
Basically, it's really trippy, and maybe I'll overlay something on here. Like, it's almost like fractals, and, and that leads us to another part of our favorite conversation.
Fractals. You really like fractals.
I do like fractals.
Me
Yeah.
too. I love fractals.
especially like when you look at the Mandelbrot set, which is a really, I feel like it's one of the more popular fractals.
Sure.
Looking into like the math behind what makes it, because the Mandelbrot set is a fractal that is written by a math equation.
and it's take a number, you square it, you add 1 to it, or something like that.
And so normally, if you just use normal numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no matter what you're gonna do, it's gonna keep getting bigger.
Right. But if you use complex numbers, then when you square something,
The idea with complex numbers is that there are numbers, like, if you take the square root of a negative number, then you can't get it because a negative times a negative is a positive, right? And a positive times a negative, like, that's the only way you can do it, is the idea. And so, they have this number, it's I. So it's just this imaginary number that they made up that we can't, it doesn't, like, interact usually with our world. And they've never seen it before in nature.
And so they do this, and it has so that
Now when you square a number, it can be negative. And so then you can, when you square these numbers together, then when you run it through the equation, you can actually get to 0. And so you can graph a complex plane, is what it's called, where you have the real number line on a line right here, and the imaginary number line going up and down. And then if you say you wanted your number to be like 2 in the real one, but 3 imaginary, then that leads directly to a point. Right. And so at each point, they plug it into that equation. And it runs it, and it can decide whether or not it'll go to 0, or if it'll get really big. Because those are the only 2 options that it has. Right. Either get to 0, or unfold on itself through infinitely. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. It's so cool, and to watch it do it too is
and
like.
that's how it makes the shapes.
Sure.
Is by checking whether or not it gets big or not.
That's what she said.
Which I believe very fine.
Ooh, I don't know if I can do another one.
No, you get no pressure. I leave it at
I know the style is. You're good.
I know the style is I like it. Keep going, babe. I love it.
So if you take the number and you square it and you add 1 to it, that gives you your next number. And then with that next number, you plug it into the equation. And so you take your answer from the last time you did it and you plug it in again. And you keep doing that essentially to infinity. And so there are ways that you can like compute, you know, what it's gonna be. And then guess what it'll be, whether or not it goes to infinity or if it gets super small.
Right.
And so you can tell how long it takes to get really big. So if it takes 100 times, and if you do it 100 times and you're still hovering at a pretty low, like 1, 2, or 3,
Yeah.
then it takes you a while. Versus if you have like a number like 5, it just immediately goes straight.
Right, like that would be like a long swoop versus like a really.
Yeah, and so the long swoop is how they decide what the colors are on the different.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it actually is, when you're looking at the colors, it's almost representing like the depth to the number.
That is so fascinating, man. Mathematics through color. I love it.
Oh, and the imaginary numbers that I mentioned that they just invented that never appeared anywhere in nature. That idea of complex numbers came around in like the 1700s.
Really?
Yeah, really early on.
So this was not a new thing.
And then in the 1800s, when they were experimenting with electricity and how electricity worked with resistors and circuits, they found that the way that they interact directly has to do with imaginary numbers. And and there's no other way to describe it.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I could just touch it here and touch my hands at the door and static electricity would be right.
And I just want to say one more thing about fractals, because in that beauty and the color that you're describing and how it all emulates outward and into infinity, I think it ties into the building blocks of our reality dimensionally. We are seeing our reality unfold, and as we view that brick and that tree and that stuff there as colors and solid objects, it's also mathematics. We're watching the reality of it unfold before us. So that, when you get really deep down in a heady way and see fractals, that's what I think you're seeing, the emulations of reality unfolding before you. Great conversation, man. Thank you so much for coming forward and talking with us. Absolutely. This is, it's been our friend Awesome, and we have been Bangers and Zen.
Nice to meet you, Awesome.
That was copyrighted. Waxy Brown motherfucking show. Okay? We're gonna put your copyright stamp right there, buddy. Bam. And a hashtag to your show. Linking your show.